Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl Chase. Welcome to Chasing Your Potential. Is it possible to be gifted and learning disabled? The answer is yes. Now, we all have our own unique strengths and weaknesses, but some students have exceptional strengths and weaknesses, and those can create real problems in the academic setting. So today we'll be talking about the twice exceptional learner. We often refer to students who have intellectual giftedness and a learning disability as twice exceptional, or sometimes you'll see it as 2E students. What this means is they have two exceptions, or two aspects of their cognitive makeup that need to be addressed at school. They're intellectually gifted as measured by some sort of intellectual assessment battery, and they also have underachievement in some area of learning. This talk today is specifically about those twice exceptional students who have giftedness and a learning disability. Let's begin with a discussion of what it means to be gifted. The term gifted is vague, and there's no one agreed upon understanding of what it means. In general, a student has intellectual abilities above and beyond those that are expected given their age. There are many different ways of defining giftedness, so you may want to do a quick internet search and see how it's defined by your school district. The next question is, what does it mean to be learning disabled? A learning disability is a neurological condition. It's something going on with the structure or functioning of the brain that makes learning basic things like reading, writing, or math particularly difficult for someone. There can also be subtle learning disabilities, problems with memory, organization, or planning. Either way, the student is not achieving up to levels expected given how intelligent they seem. So to answer the question, can someone be both gifted and learning disabled? As I said before, the answer is yes. Many people have been both gifted and learning disabled. Look at this list of high achievers who also have learning disabilities. Some of the names on this list might surprise you. Research is showing that anywhere from 2 to 5% of students in schools right now would qualify as twice exceptional. Students who are twice exceptional can be difficult to identify for a few different reasons. First of all, very bright students can often compensate for their learning challenges through other means. For that reason, they're often not identified until a little bit later in their schooling. Second of all, a student with a high IQ may be underachieving, but still be achieving at grade level. What I mean is, intellectually, maybe they're very strong, so up here, but they're achieving at grade level. That gap is still a problem. We would want them to be achieving at levels that are commensurate with their IQ. So a student who's underachieving but very bright may still be achieving at grade level and often be overlooked. Another reason that these students are often difficult to identify is they are often very verbal and pretty quick learners. Since we tend to judge how bright people are by their verbal skills and how quickly they learn, we assume that all of their skill areas are that strong. This is often not the case. So it's very important that if you think a student may be underachieving, you start asking yourself about the possibility of a twice exceptional learner. So the fundamental question becomes, what do we do about students who are twice exceptional? Number 1, be aware of and advocate for their needs. Number 2, get a good evaluation. Number 3, pursue a dual classification that includes both giftedness and learning disability. Number 4, focus our attention on developing their strengths and talents. Number 5, understand the areas of disability and how they manifest for this student. Number 6, teach compensation strategies. And number 7, Encourage students to advocate for and be aware of their own learning needs. The number one thing involves understanding, buying in and believing that this is possible, and then advocating for the student. They're learning what their strengths and challenges are, and we need to provide them with an opportunity to get help when they need it and ask questions. Students need to feel respected and know that they have a voice. If you have a warm environment for these students and you listen to them, you'll be able to provide a safe place for them to learn and grow. The second important way to help a 2E student is to pursue a good evaluation. Now, that assessment will be a little bit different than other types of assessments. For a twice exceptional learner, you want to pursue an evaluation that understands that they have real intellectual strengths. In other words, the goal of the evaluation is to really understand this individual child's profile of strengths and challenges, and not just look for something that might be wrong. Traditional evaluations are focused on finding a diagnosis. In this case, you really do want to make sure that the child is getting a good evaluation of strength areas and weaknesses, even if it means having to seek a private opinion from a psychologist, your pediatrician, or a learning specialist, so that the evaluation can look for differences between those two. The third thing that we can do for students who are twice exceptional learners is make sure that they are qualified as both gifted and learning disabled. What I mean is, if you're pursuing services through school, make sure that both the enrichment opportunities and the remediation and accommodation opportunities are provided to the child. Both will be necessary. The fourth way we can serve these students is by really focusing our attention on their strengths, giving them opportunities to show mastery over the things that they're good at, and minimizing the focus and attention on things that they struggle with. The fifth way to really help these students is by understanding where their weaknesses lie and how their disabilities manifest. What I mean by that is, a student may be diagnosed with dyslexia, which most of us think of as a reading disorder. But the reality is, dyslexia often impacts writing. So being aware of where the student's weaknesses are and how they manifest. The sixth way is to start out by teaching remediation strategies, then shift gears into compensation. In other words, once the child's weaknesses have been remediated to a level of what we call proficiency, worry then about compensation strategies, teaching the students how to work forward and achieve their goals in a slightly different way. The seventh and final way to really support students who are twice exceptional is to teach them how to advocate for themselves appropriately. Focus on teaching them about themselves. What are their own strengths and weaknesses? The good news is, if these children are identified early and receive an appropriate education, the outlook is very good. So again, here are the 7 things we can do for the twice exceptional learner. Number 1, be aware of and advocate for their needs. Number 2, get a good evaluation. Number 3, pursue a dual classification that includes both giftedness and learning disability. Number 4, focus our attention on developing their strengths and talents. Number 5, understand the areas of disability and how they manifest for this student. Number 6, teach compensation strategies. And number 7, encourage students to advocate for and be aware of their own learning needs. I'm sure you and your twice exceptional students will find this information helpful when you're out there chasing your potential.